Now, all right, welcome back to another episode of Interviewing the Exes. My name is Joshua Cotton. I'm the founder of Grown Men, Growing Men. We use this segment to talk to guys about their past and how they are changing their life, or have changed their life, and now they're using their life to help others change. So today we are honored to bring you guys my friend, my guy, Mr. Edward Speights. He's a man of God, first of all, a leader in his church and in his community, an author, and a member of our very own Grown Men, Grown Men. Mr. Edward Speights is a criminal defense attorney here in Chicago and has opened up a firm, SOS Legal Services, LLP. He just wants to see people get free. He always has a passion to help others and who couldn't help themselves. So we're gonna bring him here today. He's gonna share his life, share his story with us. We're so excited to hear you, bro. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. Is anything I didn't share with the group?
Got a lot. Thank you for having me. Yeah, born and raised here in Chicago. Right now, since I opened my business, it's been open for over a year, and God has really just been blowing on it, helping people just uh, not only get free from the prison system, but also just helping out in different areas of their life, wanting to transition people from being in jail to going back into living a healthy, functioning member of society. So it's just been a blessing, and it was a step in faith to do it, but when you open up your own business, but God been blowing on it. So I'm really excited to be here today.
Man, I'm so proud of you, bro, and just happy that you are a friend of mine, that I know another brother that is changing his lives and changing other lives as well. So we're gonna go right into this, kick this off. What is your ex in your life?
Woo! I would say one of my many exes, but the biggest ex was being a womanizer. That was something that it was just a part of who I was for a long time. I would say that it probably started before high school. Growing up in a very hyper masculine society, a lot of hyper masculine friends, we felt like we were define our manhood by how many women we can get. It started from, oh, we can get a phone number, to, oh, you can get her to kiss, or you can get, third base, and then it just developed from there to, okay, how many women can I sleep with? And that was the definition of manhood. For me, it was, losing your virginity at an early age, and then going through high school, and it was just, for me, it was sports and women. You go to parties, and it was just, okay, what girl can I get? Who can I try to get on? It was the big thing with my group. Like, all right, who you pulling up out the party? Who you trying to get? And so it continued, through college, throughout my entire life, and it was like it was a thing that would never be satisfied. Even when you have a good woman, it was like, you know what, I feel like it's somebody better. And that type of mentality where, that lust where it's never satisfied, it's all consuming, and you want to know what's the next thing out there. So that probably was my ex that really, it kind of shaped a lot of things and a lot of issues that I even dealt with in life for my own doing, because, I was more concerned with the next woman.
Well, you said it was a couple exes. So if there's any other ones you want to share, that one is the main.
I mean, not only with women, but, and people probably won't even, it's so acceptable now in society, but marijuana was definitely an ex for me. I was, it was something that I would do, almost every day for a while. It was edibles, marijuana, and then those opened the door too to like other type of, constantly drinking, like alcoholic, basically, because it was something, it wasn't just a social drinking. It was something that it was a way that I cope with stress. It was a way that I cope with what was going on in life. It was a way that I cope with different women, alcohol, and then, experimenting with, different recreational drugs like Molly or, X or something, when you're just experimenting. A lot of things I was introduced to through different women, some stuff I would never even do, You know, if I'm at a party or I'm with some women and they're doing Molly, I'm like, all right, let me try it. You know, so it was something that I was probably introduced through, through different women that I was engaged with. So, those were like different exes that probably, that were stronghold on me.
But you my first interviewer that had multiple exes that he's willing to share at the same
Mhm.
time. So this is deep. So we said exes dealing with womanizing, exes dealing with different drug preferences that you wanted to do. If we were to go back before all that started, what was like before you was introduced into these different drug options or different into what girl you wanted to get with?
I was just a kid. To be honest, I was probably a young teenager. Just watched basketball, played sports, and just ran around. And I think that um, it was being forced probably to go to church with my mom. Like she forced me and my sister to go to church at a young age, and we were in church Monday through Sunday. And I think
Ooh.
that kind of, yeah, and that kind of caused like a
Ooh.
rebellion for me. All right, I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
go to church every day. I'm tired of it. I'm
yeah.
really like
He's
skip that.
burnt
Like
out. Oh,
it's a
church
burnout.
burnout.
It's a burnout. I'm like, is there a life outside of church?
Yeah.
And so
So
that
you
really
was
was
ready to
missing for me.
run, literally run, like
All right, and honestly,
done.
uh, one of the first girls I kissed ever was at like a kids like church retreat something. So it was
Okay.
like I was like 11, 12 or something. I was first one of the first girls I really kissed was at this church thing. So it was like everything, even though we were in church, as kids, we were kind of just thrown in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So we just did whatever. We weren't really like taught or learning different things. We were just being kids at church.
Yeah.
So,
And no matter where you are, man, sometimes we're just looking for that out. Like, I
yeah.
gotta get away from this. I'm tired of this. Even as a kid, we look at it like, ooh, I was a preacher's kid, and I was probably the worst. By my friends, I was the bad influence. So yeah, I was like a transformer. Like I fit. My life would look good at church. After church, I'm
Mhm.
trying to do some of everything. So I feel you completely in that. So yeah, that was life beforehand. And you also talked a little bit about what caused you to make these choices in life, and why you chose these different exes. Are you able to expound on that more?
Um, I would say like it was like a progression. I would say it was progression. So when you know, when I got in high school, it was more so, all right, if I got these grades, my parents probably wouldn't be as on me as much, so I can like kind of sneak off and do what I wanted to do. But I still like had restrictions where like, I live under their house. I can't, be out all the time. They don't know everything that I'm doing. When I got to college, it was just a free fall
It
because
was over.
I'm open. It's like I'm living around all this. I have my own
Yes.
spot. I didn't have a roommate, so I'm living around all this. So it was just a whole mess, and I didn't, I wasn't because I was exposed to it. I wasn't too wild with it where it didn't where it consumed me, but it was like I'm I'm here to do me, so it was a progression. Like, all right, well, now I could just have women in and out of my place whenever I want.
Hmm.
I can have alcohol out in the open in my place because it's my place. I can smoke weed in my place. It's my place. I can do what I want to do, and it was just that type
It's
of
just
level of
like
freedom.
I'm
But
living my life,
I'm YOLO. I'm living my life. I can
doing
do what I
my
want to do.
best life.
My best life, and who's gonna tell me something different? Then it was
Right,
like
right.
I'm I'm gonna do what I want to do, and it just progressed from there. And so that probably what I meant where it was like, oh, it just was open. It was open.
So my thing, I was sneaky. My parents never knew what I did unless I exposed myself and got caught with it. But most of the time, I was just sneaky.
Hmm.
And because I'm hearing that you said a lot of it was because of your parents put a lot of pressure on you. You felt a lot of pressure from what they was asking of you. How did you deal with that? As far as were you also like hiding part of your life from them?
My mom didn't know. So it was funny. Like my sister knew, her brother knew, but my mom, she was just didn't know. She was like, she didn't know I partied like that. I would drink like that or be involved in that. She didn't know, and I just didn't want to hear them out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear like, oh, why are you doing that? You know better than that. Why you?
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to hear them. I'm. This is what I'm doing, and so I did a great job of hiding that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I just didn't want her to be involved in anything of that. And then it came with a lot of consequences as well. It came with a lot of consequences. It came with, I had struggles in college. Like I think that the more and more I got involved with crazy relationships and crazy things that I opened myself with, my grades suffered. And so when the grades suffered, I got put on probation and got suspended and got kicked out. And so it.
You talking about college?
From college.
Yeah.
Put in perspective, it was like, all right, I got to sit at home for a semester, and they might not even let me back into school, and lost my scholarship. Oh. So it was just like, so like, dang, like a lot of this got put into perspective. Like, okay, and the same people that were supposedly there with me, they disappeared. You're like, oh, well, he's done now. He's out. He ain't in school no more. He ain't gonna be nothing. And so that kind of put stuff in perspective for a while. But even when I was blessed enough to get back in school and, get back on the right track, it was just like, okay, I can't go too far now, but I'm still going to do it in moderation.
Still gonna do what I'm going to do.
It's still my ex, but I'm not just going to let it consume me. I'm just going to, I know I'm going to get my books first, but then I can go over here. So it wasn't, it was suppressed a little bit, but it wasn't stopped.
You knew how to control it. To an extent.
I know how to control it better.
Like I can have this better than this. I ain't getting caught no more.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
And that's related to the drug and stuff. How was that related to as far as being a womanizer?
Same thing.
Same in your life. It was times you feel like you get caught, times that you feel like you had to hide different women from one another or have relationship.
So I was honest. I probably only cheated on one girl. Everybody else I was honest with. I really was.
You got that one main girl and everybody else like, look, you know what it is.
No. I mean, like so I cheated one time on a girl and that felt so bad. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather just be honest with people. I'm like, yo, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm not in no type of situation that want to commit to anybody. I'm willing to have fun with you and enjoy our time, but I'm not going to be locked down to anybody. And so with that type of understanding I would get with people, it made it a lot smoother to a degree because people would want to have relationships and stuff, but I just wouldn't be 100% fully committed. But, it would ebb and flow because then the women that you want to commit to, they don't want to commit to you. So it'll be like those type of games. But I would say that it can be consuming because you are, I learned how to, from that experience in college, I learned like not to let it be so consuming that it affected my personal, my work life, things like that. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't, completely killed, and so those open, when you're dealing with so many different women and that much lust, like it opens up other doors. It opens up doors to pornography, open up doors to masturbation, open up doors to, you're just experimenting with just women that you would never even mess with. You're like, well, I don't want to be alone for the night. I'll just take this one. I'll go mess with this one. So you just smashing chicks that you don't even really like. You're just doing it to do it. And you just get another number under your neck, another notch on your belt. And so those are the type of things you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I sleeping with these different women? I don't even like these women. Some of them not even attractive. I wouldn't even pull up pictures on them. You drinking, smoking, and you so filled with, that lust and need that validation from somebody else, you wind up doing it.
Man, and just so happened, no one ever got pregnant. So that would have been a whole nother.
So those are stories. So those are other stories where it's like, you know what? Thank God nobody got pregnant, but you multiple times make women take Plan B. Condoms break a lot. Ooh. You had scares where women missed their periods and you thought they were pregnant, and just all type of stuff that you deal with, like
all the things that come along with
it. That you kind of forget. You're like, dang, it was a lot of drama. It was a lot of stuff. There's a lot of, Yeah.
And you can't blame it on nobody. Like, I did this, I have to live up and say, this is my responsibility. This is me.
You have to. And then you go, you still like, and then those moments that you feel scared when you go to the doctor, you like, hold on, I pray that I'm clean. I pray God, if I'll never do this again, if you make sure this, and you like, and you still like, God get you through. I thank God I never got any like sexually transmitted disease or anything, but you go to the doctor and the doctor says, okay, you're clean. And you like, oh, thank God. All right, I'm gonna go back out and do it. I'm good now. It's that. It's just, it was horrible.
Man, these are the real stories guys don't talk about.
Yeah,
those scares and those that life, living that life and what it exposes you to and the ramifications of dealing with different sexual partners, dealing with different drugs and how it can affect your life. So
I think it's important to talk about, especially to married couples and married men now. You know, when you, especially with social media and every different thing,
continue to drag along, you probably brought it right into your marriage. I didn't realize, I'm like, oh, that's stuff that I ain't let go of from my past. So I'm gonna just drift right into our next question. How long do you think this lasted and when did it end?
It lasted probably like 25 years, I would say. Like I didn't get saved for real till I was probably 32, 31, 32. And so if I started at 12, 13, that's 20, so what, 20 years, probably 20 years. So probably like 20 years of just, you know, not knowing any better and not caring. And then as you grow, you're just doing more and more. And so I think that probably like 20 years when I really, really got serious about God and got serious about like knowing who you are, whose you are, and knowing your worth.
Okay. So because of this and the way your life was going, I imagine there was people on both sides of the fence that were in your life. It was people that was like, hey, you should not do that anymore. Or it was, hey, like, dude, you need to come out with us. We're about to go kick. We're about to go smash.
Yeah.
Why was that influence stronger on you at that time? Like, whoever you hung out, who was the people in your life in your circle? Why did you choose those people?
You said why was the influence to
you must have chose other womanizers, other people that smoke, other people that drink. Why did you choose those people to be in your circle?
I mean, birds of a feather flock together, and those are my friends. You know, you grow up with people, you align yourself with people that have similar interests with you, that you vibe with, you know, that you really are cool with, and you know, that's usually how it goes. Like if these are people that we have a similar interest with, they're cool, you know, and wind up growing and growing friendships with, you know. And I think it happens a lot, and a lot of times you don't realize the influence that your circle has on you or that you have on your circle. And so you don't realize that. Like one of the hardest things I had to do was when I got serious about God, I had to cut my circle off.
That's what I'm getting to.
I had to do that because I was not strong enough at that time to tell them no, because I was stopping something that I wanted to do. I still wanted to kick it. I still wanted to smash different women. I still wanted to do that, but I love God more, but I still wanted to do it. So if I wanted to still do something and I wanted to follow God, I had to cut something off. And so for a while, I had to cut it off. And it was tough conversations. You know, it was definitely, you know, people felt a certain type of way, but I had to do it. And it, you know, even like the funny thing is that now I'm still friends with those people, but it's in a different context because it's now like, yo, you know, you wind up being an influence for them to change their life. Now, like they're getting married, they're, you know, loving and wanting to know more about God. They're in different situations, and it's like, okay, you know, it wasn't easy, but if I had to be the example to do that, then it was worth it.
Yeah. So putting boundaries in place, changing and helping your friends know this is the direction I'm going in, helped you to say, I'm okay with making these changes. I'm staying with this. I appreciate you sharing that too, because that's going to help people in understanding how important it is to changing the circle, changing the people that are in your life, because it makes a big difference. When you're saying, I don't want to do this anymore, but I'm going to still hang out here. I don't want to do this anymore, but I'm going to continue to drink. If you're still making those same decisions, how are you going to change?
Exactly.
So you had to make, what made you say, you know what, that's it, I'm done. I'm about to make this new change in my life. Did something just switch? Something happen?
It wasn't just, it was like a slow drawing from God. Like God would be, God would be like, you know what, you can't, and it'd be little stuff like you're not gonna be living this life too much longer. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. I'm still doing me. And it's like, you know what, you can't do this. Or like, and I say stuff like, God, if you give me this, I'm gonna stop. And then he wound up giving it to me. I'm like, oh, he'd just remind me like, I did get that to you. And so and I remember one night, super crystal clear. It's like the last straw. I was at this house. I had to go to church. I was serving at church. I was still out. I was still
still doing the vote.
I was still out, still outside. I was serving at church, and I was coming from this house party. Beautiful. It was beautiful women there. It was lit. I was coming from this house party probably like 5 a.m. Had to be at church party at like 8, 7:30. So I'm coming 5 a.m. and I'm driving home. Sun about to start coming up, and I heard God crystal clear. He was like, "You can't choose two lifestyles. You can no longer choose two lifestyles. You either choose me or you choose the world." And it was so crystal clear. I was like, "Dang, you don't usually say that."
Like somebody sitting next to you talking to you like,
I was like, and then at that church, that couple of hours, I wound up going home, hopping in the shower, still like hung over a little bit, head to church, and the pastor was like, and it was literally crystal clear. He said something that was similar to, you can't live two different lifestyles any longer. This is the day. And it was just like, okay, I knew at that point, it was like, that's when I was going to do it. And then I think a month later, it was like this, we had like this World Changers conference that was going on. And at that time, I was just like, I'm gonna make it public. Like, I'm not having sex till I get married. I'm cutting this off. I'm not doing that. And it was just like, that helped me accountable. So we can say something and we'll do it to ourselves. But when I made it public like that to my friends and to my family, it made me accountable for what I said. It made me accountable. And so like, all right, that's what you're going to say. That's, you're a man of your word. And that's what you're really going to do. You have to live to that standard. And it really, was like a progression of a change. It was straight a battle then too, but it was like, this is how I want to live my life. So.
A question that I didn't ask, and this is like a bonus. Why did you want to live the double life and then just say, you know what, I'm gonna put God on pause. I just want to live my life a while, do what I want to do, and I'll come back to God later. Why did you want to live the double?
I lived the double for so long. I lived the double. Like I knew God was real. I never was like, God ain't real. I just didn't serve him. I just was like, you know what? Yeah, God real. Thank you, God, for everything. You cool.
But something that kept you coming like to God. I'm gonna keep doing this. I just can't let go of it.
When it get rough, I was just, when they say train a child in the way that they should go, when they get older, they won't depart from. Like, every time I had sex with somebody, like, God forgive me. Every time, God forgive me. It was still there. It's like, God forgive me. Like, it was still there. It was just.
You still put it in the back of your head. Something like, now you like, that wasn't right. Like,
it's still there.
Dude, I just can't do it.
It was always there, even when I try to suppress it. But I was always left the double life. But then it was like, all right, it was a drawing. It was a slow drawing, and then it was like, it's time. It's time.
That's good. Coming to the end of our questions, and I just want to ask, how did you grow from this experience?
I think it made me into the man I am today. It makes me appreciate my spouse a lot. I don't take her for granted. I think that going through everything I've been through and seeing, you know, the womanizing, the drugs, and seeing that, and it was like, you don't miss that life. I know I speak to a lot of married couples, a lot of married men, and it's like they have this fantasy of what it was when they were single and what it was when, you know, they weren't, if they didn't have God or just being single. Like, you know what, I wish I could have some freedom. I wish that I was, you know, back in the world or doing that. And it allows me to have these real conversations with them. Like, okay, what was it really like when you were out there? Yeah, you know, probably got to sleep with who you wanted to sleep with when you got to that, but what was the other things that came along with that? What about the many nights when you really were by yourself? You know, that isolation, that loneliness, and that's what really will get you into wanting to be with somebody you don't want to be with, wanting to drink, wanting to do drugs, wanting to be out here. And then it's like you're looking for what you already have. You're looking for somebody that loves you, somebody that's honest. You look for that loyalty. You know, it's different when you mess with a woman that's messing with other people. You know, that's a different type of relationship when it's like that's the woman that you have for the night, but you're married now. You got a woman that you build a legacy with. You know, and it's different. It sobers people up because I'm able to have those conversations because I know how it was. And so I think that everything that I'm doing now is ministry. I'm like, it's not ministry in church, it's ministry in life, ministry in having conversations, ministry in my job as an attorney and talking to people and wanting to change their life. A lot of times people get in trouble over money and women. It's funny. A lot of times comes to such basic things like pride, money, and women would be like the biggest reasons why a lot of the cases I have happened. And it's like, okay, why? What stemmed from that? What started that? Where did that come from? And you start to unpack that and unflesh that. It's like, yo, my life has, you know, been a example of why I can help other people. And so that's what I would say to that.
That's good. That's good. One of the last questions we get. What advice would you give to any young man experiencing what you went through?
I would say it's okay to be different. Like a lot of times that we have our friends, we have our circle, and it's like, you know what, I don't want to be excommunicated from my circle. So if my circle is doing this, I got to be a part of it because I want to be in the in crowd. I want to be cool. I want to be a part of it. And yeah, it could be fun at that moment, but you know what do you really want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your purpose? What have you been even called to do if you know what you've been called to do? And so a lot of times if you mess with the wrong one, I was blessed to not have a child by somebody that I didn't want to be with, or, you know, get an STD, or, you know, wind up marrying the wrong person. You know, what do you do with, you know, those type of situations? What if you don't get out of those situations? You don't want to put yourself in those situations that will hinder your future. So I would just tell you, it's okay to be different. It's okay to find people that are more aligned with your purpose instead of just what's comfortable right now. And so it's important to be different, to be the first. It's not an easy road. It's really not when you're the first person that's doing something, when you're starting something, when you're doing the first thing in your family. It's not easy, but you know, I really believe that if you're called to do something, like God's gonna bless you along the way. And it's you don't have to be like everybody else.
Mm. Man, standing out, being different, knowing yourself and your identity.
That's
A
what
lot of
yeah.
guys struggle with that.
Yes.
And they're trying to fit in and trying to find other people that can they just mesh with instead of just saying, hey, this is who I am and I'm comfortable with who I am. Man, I appreciate you coming on here today and telling your life. It's rich. It's a lot to unpack that you shared with the listeners. How can the listeners find you, follow you, if they need your services? How can they tap into what you got?
I'm accessible on all social media. But if you want to follow me, Ed the Lawyer Guy on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, TikTok. My website for my business, soslegalhelp.com. We just updated the website. We've right now it's criminal, personal injury, real estate. We're starting to do trademarks as well. So yeah, so we're expanding, and God has been good. So just hit us up. Also, SOS Legal Help is also on Instagram, Twitter. So follow, inbox, DM. My personal Facebook as well as SOS Legal Help is on Facebook as well. So tap in.
Also, you're author. Please share with us.
Author. All right.
Book.
I had a book. God told me to write a book during the pandemic. It's pretty much about my story. It's been great reviews. It's called The Vault. Yeah, it's pretty much my story in a book, and I don't sugarcoat anything. So if you want real stories, real things that happen, especially with these womanizing days, it's in the book. It's in the vault.
Find more about Ed in the book. I want to buy a book. I'm ordering the book.
Let's get it.
How much is the book?
It's on Amazon. I think it's $10.99.
I'm getting the book today. Get your book today. Get your book today. I'm getting the book today. You shared everything. And that's everything, bro. I want to appreciate you. I appreciate you and the time that you had to share with us.
Thank you.
You have anything else you want to share with us, listeners?
Just thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much, bro. Like, you've been doing such a great job with grown men. Like, I really just appreciate you and honor you and thank you for what you're doing. You have such a calling to men, and just how God is just going to continue to bless you. It's amazing. So just thank you. You're doing what God's told you to do, and it's neat.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing, man. You providing help and services for the community. So many guys out here don't always see a positive role model, a positive influence. They don't have people in their life that are going in that direction. So you are one of the guys that are a light in the dark places. You're a person in that community that has a light, and they can see you and see the direction you're going in. So I appreciate you just being vulnerable about your life and sharing your story and offering your book that people could go in and actually read more about his life and what he has to offer as far as telling the story. Thank you again today. Want to let you all know there will be more episodes of Behind the Interviewing the Exes coming soon. You'll be able to find these episodes again on our new website that we're putting out. If you would like to share your story with us, please email me at growmangrowing@gmail.com. Other than that, I thank you for tuning in today. Thanks again for this time you had to share with us. Thank you again, Mr. Ed. We appreciate you. God bless and have a good day.
Let's go.